UB Council members Friedman, Heilman, Hayflick, Emeritus UB Council and UB Foundation member Walsh, UB Foundation Chairman Litro, UB Foundation member Sparasa, President Tripathi, keynote speaker and Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, Interim Dean Gardner, distinguished members of the judiciary, and guests. The candidates for degrees, the faculty, staff, and families of the candidates are assembled. I therefore declare the commencement exercises of the State University of New York at Buffalo School of Law to be officially opened. Please remain standing for the national anthem of the United States of America and the university alma mater.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? The pride of our spirit and tradition, our alma mater's truth and name declare. Celebrate our history and wisdom. Oh, let us all prepare to sing her glory. To Buffalo, all hail to thee. Noble and strong, it's our university. To blue and white, pledge loyalty, singing, I will always remember thee.
You may be seated. Please join me in welcoming Bridget and Thomas Black, SUNY Distinguished Professor James Gardner, Interim Dean of the University at Buffalo School of Law. He will deliver greetings on behalf of the faculty.
Thank you all for being here with us today as we celebrate the successes of the class of 2017. I'd like to welcome you and take a moment to acknowledge the special guests who have joined us here today. Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, our keynote speaker, Dr. Satish Tripathi, University President, UB Council members Scott Friedman, Pamela Heilman, June Hayflick, Emeritus UB Council and UB Foundation member John N. Walsh III, UB Foundation Chairman Francis M. Litro, UB Foundation member Daniel Sparazza, Dean's Advisory Council members and emeritus members, the Honorable Gerald Whalen, Presiding Justice, New York State Supreme Court Appellate Division, 4th Department, the Honorable Jeanette Ogden, Judge of the New York State Supreme Court, the Honorable Barbara Howe, Erie County Surrogate, the Honorable Craig Hanna, Judge of the Buffalo City Court, faculty, staff, and honored guests. It is a great pleasure to stand here before you on this occasion. I will confess to feeling a special fondness for this class. In a way, we came in together and we are going out together. 3 years ago, I had the pleasure of getting to know many of you during your first semester in civil procedure, one of the most enjoyable teaching experiences I can recall. Before the semester was over, I was appointed interim dean. Now you are finishing up law school, and I'm finishing up my service as dean. You feel relief. So do I. You have undoubtedly been thinking a great deal about your future, and as you do, it is well to keep in mind a keen observation by the great Yogi Berra. It's tough to make predictions, especially about the future. Let's look at these predictions. Here's one that interests me. Prognosticators have been saying for some time now that the profession you are about to enter is on the verge of obsolescence, or if not obsolescence, at least on the verge of a transformation fueled by disruptive, a badly overused word I have come to hate, disruptive technological change that will render it unrecognizable. We are not far from the day these futurists have been saying when the skills you have just spent 3 hard years honing can be mastered by computer algorithms. The provision of personalized legal services on this view is a sad, declining, quote-unquote, legacy industry, creating unnecessarily, quote-unquote, bespoke products, with bespoke, a term once used to signal skill and quality, now somehow transformed into a term of derision. To be sure, computer-generated legal advice will be mass-produced, standardized, and perhaps not actually good in the sense in which you have been trained to recognize and to produce genuinely good work. But the story goes, it will be good enough. LegalZoom, good enough. Rocket Lawyer, good enough to put you out of business if you occupy anything but the highest rung of the profession, where your services will be available to those, and only to those, wealthy enough to pay when price is no object. That's the prediction. Reality, however, has a way of interfering with tidy predictions. And the reality to which I refer is the election of last November. The picture now looks very different, for you will be graduating into circumstances that nobody did or could foresee, circumstances in which the need for lawyers has never been more urgent. Astonishingly, unbelievably, dismayingly, the election of 2016 produced a president who is completely ignorant of the meaning of the rule of law, who is disdainful of the very concept, who neither knows nor cares what the law requires or why, who attacks anyone, including judges, for behaving as though the law is more than an optional inconvenience, and in the case of federal judges, for exercising in good faith the very duties that the Constitution of the United States created a judiciary to perform. The Constitution demands that the President of the United States take care that the laws are faithfully executed. It requires that the President preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. If the President himself should turn out to be unwilling to do these things, then others must hold him to it, not to mention the 2 million federal employees who work under presidential supervision and who carry out the President's programs and instruction. This will require lawyers, and not ersatz, online, algorithmic, virtual lawyers, but real, well-trained, flesh and blood human beings who possess sound legal judgment and who live in their own communities and thus understand the context of facts on the ground. These are the people who can identify the abuse of power when it occurs, who can assist and serve individuals harmed by unlawful actions of their government, who can give voice and substance to the rule of law itself, who have the judgment, ability, and stamina to fight hard when and if the occasion demands it. Computer algorithms cannot perform these functions. There is no algorithm to identify bad faith, mendacity, abuse of power. These are matters that require the exercise of human judgment informed by actual lived experience. You, my soon-to-be new colleagues, will have employment and possibly more than you bargained for. The first few years of practice are always a test of skill for newly minted law graduates. For this class, that test may well be faster and harsher with more at stake than for earlier classes. Your skills, moreover, may not be the only thing put to the test. the coming years may prove a test of character as well. So remember your training. We have done everything we can to give you the skills that you will need to meet these tests. The character you will have to supply yourselves. So I congratulate you, class of 2017, and I wish you good luck, not just for your sake, but truly for all of us. It's now my pleasure to introduce University President Dr. Satish Tripathi, who will deliver greetings on behalf of the university.
Good afternoon. First, I would like to offer a warm welcome to the parents and family members joining us. I especially want to recognize and thank our distinguished speaker, Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul. Thank you for being here. I also want to take a moment to thank and acknowledge my colleague, James Gardner, for his service as interim dean of the law school. I truly appreciate Jim's outstanding leadership over the past 2.5 years, actually more than past 2.5 years. As he has shepherded the law school through this transitional period. One of the highlights of his tenure was overseeing the law school's reaccreditation. Jim, we wish you all the best as you return to your teaching and scholarship. Thank you so much. As we honor our graduates today, we also honor the support and guidance of the many families and friends here with us who have helped our students reach this great milestone. Most of all, we are here to celebrate you, the law school's class of 2017. Congratulations. Reaching this moment is a great personal achievement, but your graduation is deeply meaningful in a public sense as well. As you be graduate, what you have learned and discovered here and what you will do with this knowledge has tremendous significance for the communities that you are part of. These communities begin with your circle of families and friends and extend to your neighborhood, your nation, and the global community. These aren't separate spheres. They are closely connected. You are graduating into a world where the local and the global, the personal and the public increasingly intersect. What happens in the arena of world affairs affects us on a daily basis. The challenges we face personally and as a society have no borders, from medical and public health threats to economic, educational, and social inequalities to environmental concerns impacting the future of our planet. These problems are multifaceted and complex, spanning the globe and cutting across a wide range of disciplines, fields, institutions, and communities. So now more than ever, we need ideas, solutions, innovations, and collaborations that transcend borders of all kinds, geographic, cultural, disciplinary, and ideological. We need globally minded citizens who are ready to come together to tackle these challenges. We need thoughtful, knowledgeable leaders who bring both proven experience and an open mind to forefront. We need pioneering problem solvers who reach beyond their immediate frame of reference to embrace and learn from many different points of view. That is where you come in. Your UB education has prepared you for exactly this kind of engaged global citizenship. It has prepared you to engage with and empathize with others, to recognize our shared humanity and common concerns despite cultural and geographic differences. It has emphasized the importance of building bridges across borders to solve challenges that transcend borders. UB, as a large internationalized university whose members come from all over the world, mirrors the complexity of the world around us through our ideological and cultural diversity. And as a core element of our mission as a public research university, we are committed to ensuring that our ideas and discoveries make the world around us a better place, from our local neighborhoods to our global community. As citizens, you are perhaps the most powerful embodiment of our university mission. As UB students, you have already begun responding to global challenges, working directly with faculty and scholars who are leading the conversations in and beyond their fields. You have contributed to solutions and discoveries that change how the world approaches threats of civil liberties, due process, and privacy. You and your classmates will have a powerful global impact as lawyers, legal scholars, and advocates. You've already demonstrated that by participating in community justice clinics for low-income clients, honing your skills in mediation, and ensuring the public rights to access to information. Now, as UB graduates, you're part of a long-standing UB tradition, joining a global network of 250,000 alumni in nearly 150 countries across the world, all dedicated to using their UB education to make a difference in the world. The challenges you will be called on to address reflects universal concerns facing humanity in every community around the globe. And the communities you're part of, here and beyond, will surely be richer for your contributions and insights. Class of 2017, we can't wait to see how you will use your UB education to make a difference in the world. Congratulations on your great achievement and all the best wishes on the road ahead. Thank you. From time to time, the University at Buffalo president has the honor of presenting the UB President's Medal in recognition of those who have expended truly extraordinary effort on behalf of our university and the communities we serve. Created in 1990, this medal is presented in recognition of, in the word of the original medal description, outstanding scholarly and artistic achievements, humanitarian acts, contributions of time and treasure, exemplary leadership, or any other major contribution to the development of the University at Buffalo or the quality of life in UB community. It is my honor to have the opportunity to recognize one such individual at this time. Would Frances M. Littrow please join me at the podium? A distinguished alumnus of the UB Law School, Mr. Francis Littrow is one of the most prominent attorneys in Western New York and has remained deeply engaged with his alma mater for many years. A member of the University at Buffalo Foundation Board of Trustees since 2008, and appointed chair of UBF in 2012, Mr. Littrow has served in this leadership position with great distinction and exceptional dedication. Founder and partner of Francis M. Littrow Attorneys and Counselors at Law, Mr. Littrow has generously given his time and support to the university and the School of Law, where he has served as a member of the School of Law Campaign Steering Committee and since 2008 as Vice Chair of the School of Law's Dean's Advisory Council. The profound impact of Mr. Littrow's commitment to UB can be seen and felt across the campus. This includes the home of the School of Law, O'Brien Hall, where the Francis M. Littrow courtroom is located, the first truly operational courtroom to be housed within a U.S. law school It was named after Mr. Littrow in 2002 by the University at Buffalo Council in recognition of his sustained support of the school and UB. 10 years later, Mr. Littrow received the highest honor presented by the School of Law and the Law Alumni Association, the Jekyll Award, in recognition of his extraordinary service to the law profession and his support of and substantial impact on UB and the law school. Equally as dedicated to service in his profession, Mr. Littrow is the founding president of the Western affiliate of the New York State Trial Lawyers Association and the New York State Academy of Trial Lawyers. He's also a member of American Board of the Trial Advocates, the Board of Directors of the New York State Trial Lawyers Association, the Association of Trial Lawyers of America, and the Bar Associations of Erie, Chautauqua, and Allegheny counties. Our university and our community have been greatly enriched by Mr. Littrow's sustained and dedicated service to and support of the engagement with UB. It is with great pride and pleasure that I present the UB President's Medal to my esteemed friend, Mr. Francis M. Littrow.
Thank you, Dr. Tripathi, for this high honor, and thank you for its presentation on the occasion of the 128th commencement ceremony of this great law school. I know, Dr. Tripathi, that you value greatly this university and this law school, and that you hold great esteem and respect for the legal profession, and for that I thank you. I too value this law school. It is very, very important and dear to me. And I'm particularly grateful that Dr. Tripathi invited me to join such a distinguished group on this platform to stand before the class of 2017 and your loved ones and friends and supporters. It reminds me of how I felt 38 years ago today when I sat in these seats. For whatever contribution I may have made to the university and to the community and to the legal profession, it's because I got my start here at UB Law School, and because of my continued engagement with this great law school and university throughout my career. I have found great fulfillment and satisfaction in my personal and professional lives by continued engagement with this law school, helping it with its challenges and helping it with its opportunities. Some of the most satisfying legal work I have ever done has been giving time and advice to students, faculty, and leadership at this university. And of course, a little financial contribution from time to time is always helpful and welcome. But I'd like you to know that as lawyers and counselors, we have the ability to make public policy, to change the status quo in our communities, to lift up individuals in great time of need by our legal services. Always remember that a lawyer can always, always, always improve a situation, no matter how dire or how delicate that situation may appear at first. It is our calling, it is our duty, it's our obligation. So give of your time and your advice wisely and generously in all aspects of your professional lives and in your personal lives. Stay in touch with each other as friends and as colleagues, and most of all, stay engaged with this great law school. In closing, Dr. Tripathi, I'd like to thank you for your leadership and your support of this law school, and I'd like to thank you for your friendship. So congratulations to the class of 2017, and study hard and pass the bar. Good luck.
Thanks, Fran. You're a great friend to the law school. It's my pleasure to introduce you to this year's commencement speaker, Kathy C. Hochul, the 77th Lieutenant Governor of New York State. The Lieutenant Governor is the second highest ranking government official in the state of New York, elected by the people of the state to serve their interests. It is a position that requires exceptional dedication to public service in order to do the job well, a commitment to doing the work of the people. Lieutenant Governor Hochul has exemplified that commitment throughout her career. Her public service includes 14 years as a Town of Hamburg council member, 4 years as Erie County clerk, and 2 years as Congresswoman in New York's 26th Congressional District prior to her election as Lieutenant Governor. Raised in Buffalo's South Towns in a family of 6 children, the Lieutenant Governor has frequently acknowledged that service to one's community is both a privilege and an individual responsibility. A graduate of Syracuse University and the Columbus School of Law at Catholic University, she has used her legal education and her political career to fulfill that responsibility both locally and now at a statewide level. As Lieutenant Governor, she chairs 10 regional economic development councils charged with developing long-term strategic plans for economic growth. To date, these councils have invested $4 billion into more than 4,100 projects across the state. She also chairs the State Workforce Investment Board, focused on addressing the growing lack of skilled workers, and co-chairs the New York State Task Force on Heroin and Opioid Abuse and Addiction, charged with developing a comprehensive strategy to deal with the escalating heroin crisis. Additionally, since 2015, she has led Governor Cuomo's Enough is Enough campaign to combat sexual assault on college campuses. Beyond the scope of her professional commitments, Hochul joined her mother and her aunt in 2006 to establish the Kathleen Mary House, a transitional home for victims of domestic violence that provides a safe and nurturing environment to its residents. Her allegiance to the welfare of her community is irrefutable. A steadfast advocate for Western New York, a catalyst for economic revitalization throughout the state, and a champion for its citizens, it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Interim Dean Gardner. I was so honored to accept your invitation to address this special occasion, and so I want to thank you also for your service as the Dean over the past 3 years. President Tripathi, what can I say? Your leadership is not just focused on the University of Buffalo, but truly as the co-chair of the Governor's Regional Councils, you've had a wide-reaching impact on the many counties that comprise Western New York, so thank you as well. And I'm so proud to be on the stage with my friend for many, many years, Fran Litro, and acknowledge the wisdom of President Tripathi and the university and recognizing him for his unwavering commitment to not just this institution, but what he and his wife, Cindy, have done for institutions all over Western New York have truly made them a better place because of their dedication. To the faculty, the staff, the administration, the proud families that are sitting out here today. I actually have a son who's a graduate of law school, and it's even more exciting than my day. And so congratulations to all of you because you share in the glory today. But also, most importantly, to the class of 2017. But I have a confession to make. I was almost one of you. I will tell you the story. I've never told it before. These are the cold, hard facts of why I'm not a UB law grad. I was accepted at UB. I gave them my deposit, but something happened late spring of 1980. In fact, it was June 3rd, 1980, and it snowed. That's the cold, hard fact. It snowed. Yeah. Now, after 4 years of snow and cloudy days and sun deprivation when I was studying my undergraduate work down the road at Syracuse University, I said, I just can't take it anymore. So I wimped out, totally wimped out. And so in a really, professional way, I went through all the law schools that had accepted me. It wasn't a huge list. And I looked at the one that was furthest south. It was Washington, D.C. I went to Washington, D.C. But I like to think I made up for it a little bit by marrying one of your alum. Does that count for something? In fact, I met him the week of June 3rd, 1980. And I got him to marry me 3 weeks after he took the bar, which was 3 weeks later than I wanted, but it worked out well. So I want to recognize my husband, Bill, your former United States attorney. I will also say that I've given more than a few commencement addresses to undergraduates. This is my first law school. And so here's what I tell them. First of all, I like props. I usually tell them what this is. They don't know what paper is and books because everything's electronic. So I say, you may have seen this in a museum, but this is actually called a book, okay? See the blank pages? And they're kind of stunned. What is that? I tell them that this book represents their life. And after graduation, it's up to them to begin filling in the pages. And I show them this too, this is a pen. And I tell them that the education they just received is really the tool, the pen, to help them write their story. And because it's a commencement, I usually offer all kinds of free advice. They're usually so excited to hear it. I tell them, never fear taking risks. And to amplify that story, I tell them about my long shot run for a seat in Congress that almost no one on this planet thought that I could win, with maybe the exception of Bill and my parents and my kids, and actually Fran and Cindy Litro and Professor Canal and the Josephs who are here today with their daughter. A few people believed in me, but the vast majority said, that's not going to happen. You will never win that seat in Congress. And so I took the risk, and you heard from my bio, I had the privilege of serving in Congress for 2 years. My next lesson to the undergraduates is never fear failure or loss. And I circle back again to my story, and I tell them that the pain of losing that seat that I had fought so hard for and that I treasured and felt so honored to hold, it was hard. And the feeling that I disappointed my idealistic young staff who believed in me, and I disappointed my supporters and my family, it was unbearable at the time. But in the end, it was that very loss that opened the door to where I am today, to be able to represent not just one congressional district, but the entire state of New York as lieutenant governor. I also tell them, never forget where you came from. And many of them are Western New Yorkers like myself. Don't ever forget the values that you learn from your family and your community. And I speak of my parents starting married life literally in a trailer in Lackawanna, close to the steel plant where my father once toiled. And despite our humble beginnings, how we were taught empathy and given a strong social conscience. For growing up in a big family in a tiny house, we constantly had people in need surrounding us, realizing that we still had more than others, that we had underprivileged kids, we had the children of migrant workers, we had people looking for housing opportunities that were unavailable because of their race, we had people with disabilities. We had so many people in our house, I couldn't tell if it was one of my brothers or sisters or not. We were always surrounded by people that my parents thought that by being with us, we could better their lives. So that had a strong influence on my later path in life to become a lawyer and realize I could do more to help people as well. So those are the messages I offer to the undergraduates, and I tell them it's up to them. Writing that story is up to them. Now, you, my friends, are law graduates. Juris Doctorate. Sounds fancier, doesn't it? Juris Doctorate. You have already written chapter 1 in your own book. That's already taken care of. So I have a very, very different message for you. But I want to just say, if your primary goal as a lawyer is to make money, you might just want to put in your headset for the next 10 minutes. If your goal as a lawyer is to make a difference, then I've got a story for you. I will start by telling you I'm not here to tell you how great you are. No, that's the job of your parents, your grade school teachers, your soccer coaches, your dance teachers, and other people. My challenge, my purpose in being here is to make you want to be greater. Be greater. To view your life with loftier aspirations, and to consider this milestone, this graduation today, in the context of your destiny, the purpose of your very existence. And my simplest objective today is to make you feel compelled, or perhaps even inspired, to be a better citizen and a better person. So compared to your life so far, I will tell you very frankly, the path you've chosen will not, and actually should not be easy. It's not an easy path. But as a lawyer, you are transformed into a citizen with more responsibilities and expectation on you than anyone else in society. Why is that? Well, first of all, it starts with the oath you will take after you pass, or that you will pass, the bar exam, and when you're sworn in. You are sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. So you're no longer a bystander in your democracy. You are sworn to protect it. Now, I'm not saying you can't, when necessary, challenge our institutions, but you cannot undermine them. You're obligated to protect the truth, which I fear, unlike what our founding fathers envisioned, is no longer quite as self-evident, particularly coming out of the White House briefing room. But that's another story, another whole speech, another day. But more than just protecting the institutions of our democracy, I'm calling on you to protect the people who live under that democracy. And another reason you have this special weight on your shoulders, these expectations from society, is that you now have a credential that is beyond the reach of most Americans. You're held in esteem for what you've achieved. And most people will never view you the same ever again. They truly won't. For now, you literally possess the power to change people's lives. And I'm calling on you to use that power, your intellect, your UB training, and the law as swords of justice, whether in your daily practice or your pro bono work, and I put the emphasis on your pro bono work. You can give hope to the hopeless, for you may be the only hope they have. The victims of domestic violence seeking protection from her tormentor, the young woman who works in an environment where she's being sexually harassed day after day by her boss, the refugee from a war-torn land who comes here and is mired down in bureaucracy and doesn't know where to turn, or the devastated parents of a heroin overdose victim looking for justice with the prosecution of the dealer who took their child's life. There are countless, countless others who need legal representation in their quest for justice, and you may be their only answer. The chapters in their story are quite different than yours. Theirs are often one of despair. But because of your compassionate engagement and your involvement, you have the power to give them a different ending to their story. And in that sense, their story becomes part of your story. And the more you can do for other people, the better a person you will become. There's also a greater urgency now more than ever for good people and good lawyers to step up and give power to the powerless. We only need recall a few months ago the Muslim ban. I was never more proud when I saw the scores of attorneys who flocked to JFK Airport in our own state. I was in New York City at the time, who came there offering free assistance to the individuals who had been stranded. And I paraphrase Emma Lazarus. If you don't know who she is, look it up on Wikipedia real quick. To the tired, to the poor, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free, those who arrived in our state over those days. To them, these lawyers became the living embodiment of the words inscribed on the Statue of Liberty, that beacon of hope that shines bright in our harbor. They defended our democracy, and just as importantly, they defended American values. Those lawyers made a difference. And that's just one example. But before long, you'll find that answering calls for help is your calling. You'll have something similarly to give. I told you you're a citizen now with additional responsibilities, and as lawyers, you're called to action. Start simple. Start with informed engagement in your electoral process. Start with voting. And you don't have to confess now whether you voted last time or not, but if you didn't, I'd really like to think that everyone who was a bystander in our democracy last November will get off and be engaged the very next time. But whether it's simple as voting or participating in voter registration, whether it's poll watching on election day, or sometimes it's even challenging laws that are designed to suppress the voting rights of the powerless, these civic engagements are opportunities, again, for you to excel as being a United States citizen. All right, so if I haven't put enough responsibility on your shoulders today, I've got you fighting for the powerless and the hopeless and saving our democracy. There's something else I want you to think about. I mentioned that people will treat you differently now that you're a full-fledged lawyer, or will soon be one. Again, the title has a certain status, a prestige that goes along with it. But that is not an excuse to lose your humility or your empathy for others. Simple acts of kindness can even be greater because of your position. Offering a hello to the support staff, often overlooked in a big company or law firm when you're together in an elevator. Asking the night watchman where you work how the family's doing, what's up with the kids. Treating the custodial staff with appreciation and gratitude. And I'll never forget the look on the face of Jackie, this elderly woman who responsible for cleaning the offices in our state capitol. We've become good friends. And one day someone gave me this rather flamboyant scarf as a gift, and she looked at that with such admiring eyes. And I said, Jackie, this would look so pretty on you. Why don't you take it? Simple, I didn't think of it until I went outside at the end of the day and I saw her standing at the bus stop, blustering snowstorm. And she was there twirling that scarf around in front of people with such pride. Her happiness could not have matched mine. I felt good that a simple act to someone made a difference. But that simple act also reminded me that could have just as easily been me outside in the snowstorm. I don't forget things like that. So I never, and I hope you never, take for granted where you are in life and what you have in life. Gratitude and humility need to remain part of your DNA, and don't lose those traits as you climb the ladder of success. And when you're in need of role models, just look back to UB. Look at people like Fran Litro or my husband Bill, both known to be such down-to-earth people of decency and humility. So now that you've heard my advice, I've laid it all out for you. I need to leave you with some advice from my mother. Or actually her philosophy in life. And just a couple days ago, I found the photograph of myself at my law school graduation. And the only person missing today from that photo was my mom. And she's one of the reasons I dedicated my life to public service. Because there was a quotation that was on our refrigerator growing up that really my mom and dad both wanted us to really not just read, but to live. And now that phrase is engraved on my mother's tombstone. Go into the world and do well. But more importantly, go into the world and do good. Using your newfound power as a force for good, combined with the world-class education you've received here at New York State's premier public law school, I am very confident that if you keep any of that as your guidepost going forward, When you write your story, it will indeed be a masterpiece. Now start writing. Congratulations.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for being here today and for your inspiring remarks. Please accept a token of our appreciation. Please join me in welcoming Brian Witt, President of the Law Alumni Association, who will deliver greetings on behalf of our alumni.
Good afternoon, everybody. I have the unenviable task of following our Lieutenant Governor. I'll be brief. I'm here on behalf of your over 11,000 alumni strong, and I'm just talking to this group right here to welcome you. As of today, you're no longer law students, you are law alumni, and that is a tremendous accomplishment. And our alumni, and I'm speaking on behalf of all of them, we're very proud of you. We're proud of what you've done. You've finished one race, and now you get to start the next race. I'm here to do two things. One, to welcome you, and two, to give you a little bit of a challenge as far as alumni goes. The Law Alumni Association is a network involving about 11,000 people, going from, of course, Buffalo, Rochester, as you would expect, down the 90 to Syracuse and Albany, but now we're in New York City, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Los Angeles, and all points in between. Your alumni, what is your family now, are everywhere. And there's huge benefits in being involved in your alumni. It's either going to be networking, job opportunities, referrals. I don't know how many times in the last year I've had a classmate call me up and refer me a piece of work because they knew me from the law school and because they know me involved in the Alumni Association. And just support, and never lose sight of the support aspect. The ability to remember that, you know what, there was that guy in law school or that girl in law school, and they were really smart on this point, and I'm going to call them up because I can't figure the issue out. And I do that all the time, too. So look around you. You know who those people are. Be involved. You can call those people. Those are benefits of being involved with your alumni. The second part of being involved in alumni, and the major benefit, and Fran Litro took all my thunder on this, is the good feeling you get from helping out others, from giving back to your school. We saw the Royal Pitches come out and sing the UB theme. And by the way, UB has a song, and it's really good. And I didn't know that. But they said, always remember thee. And they said those words. And that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to remember your law school. You're done being a student, but you're not untethered. Stay involved. Judge moot court. Participate in the CLEs. Be a mentor for people. Let law students shadow you, just as some of you have done while you're in law school. Now turn around to the person behind you and give them a hand, and do the same thing back. It is a wonderful feeling. It is very positive. And as you see Fran sitting here, he's someone who's, in my view, the best person to look to is how wonderful that can be and how much you can give back and what a positive effect you can have. Let me give a special pitch to all of you for what we call our gold group, the graduates of the last decade, and that's what all of you become as of, 40 minutes from now. They're a great group, and they are, in many ways, I'm president of the Law Alumni Association, but the gold group is really our engine. And they're always holding CLEs, they're always having networking events, and they throw one heck of a happy hour. And they do stuff all over the place. And join their group, become a director, attend their meetings, go to their functions. You're not going to regret it. They're wonderful folks, and what they are, look around you, you are going to be part of the graduates of the last decade. You can stay involved and stay in touch. So I'm sorry to say the student fee of $10 to be a Law Alumni Association member has gone away. It's not $10 anymore, but it's not much more, and it is worth it. take advantage of it. And since everyone's passing out advice, I'm going to give 3 pieces of advice. 1, go do great things, chase your dreams. When you're doing it, try to be a little kinder than is necessary. And I'll give you my grandmother's advice. If you have to eat 2 bullfrogs, eat the big one first. Congratulations to all of you and welcome.
Thank you, Brian. Now please join me in welcoming Ashmita Roka of the class of 2017, who will deliver the student address.
Good afternoon, everyone. I feel honored to be here today. I would like to thank University at Buffalo School of Law, my lovely parents, friends, mentors, and student loans for making this day a reality. I won't lie, I was surprised that I was selected as the commencement speaker. I have to remind myself that I'm here because I deserve it. When I received my acceptance letter from UB, I was shocked. I kept hearing myself say it was probably a mistake and that I was blessed with the affirmative action angel. My first semester in law school, like many of you, I kept telling myself that I did not belong here, and sooner or later, they would figure me out. When I received a C in my first writing assignment, I believed I was doomed. They say, as a lawyer, writing is your bread and butter. Well, my first semester I learned, when I become a lawyer, I would have to live a butter and breadless life. Despite the challenges, we could not give up, because we weren't in law school just for us, but also for our parents, family, and community. Not a lot of people or women from Nepal make it to college. Here I was in law school. I had to prove to others and myself that I wasn't part of the UB law merely because of my status as an immigrant from Nepal. I was intimidated by students who always had something to say, students who could type at a lightning speed, and students who walked around with different colored highlighters. I couldn't keep up with the rigorous work demand of law school. I couldn't even decide what color highlighter was used for what. And when I tried, I ended up with pages in my textbook looking like a rainbow. I didn't know how to figure out the relevant facts. They all seemed very relevant to me. I was completely overwhelmed. The hard truth that we all learn about law school is that we cannot do it alone, and that we need a support system. So I reached out and started going to professors and administrators' office hours. I learned that it was okay to have bad days, but the important thing was to show up and get things done. My story and my law school experience can seem very different than yours. For many of you, I'm probably the only person you know from Nepal, or better yet, don't even know where Nepal is. But my law school experience is not unique than yours. We have all felt those feelings of drowning when an avalanche of stuff keeps piling on you and you keep asking yourself, is law school the right path for me? And am I intelligent enough to graduate law school? We all had an idea of who we were before law school. We thought we knew our strengths and weaknesses, but law school brought our fears to the surface where we couldn't escape or hide. We were left with the ultimate choice: to overcome our obstacles, our personal battles, and to face them with courage and to rise above it. And today is a testament that we all rose above it. My dear class of 2017, some of us know what we want to do with our law degree, But for many of us, we'll figure it out once we enter the working world. I believe, and you will all agree with me, that law school has given us the tools to be successful. Yes, the practical skills, but it has given us life skills. We have found our voices, support system, close friends, and our true authentic selves. The lessons we have learned here will carry along as we step into the next phase in our lives. Law school has taught us that, 1, being scared is normal. Be scared, but get things done. 2, be courageous enough to live the kind of life you are excited about. And 3, peanut butter jelly is an awesome snack. And this is coming from someone who hated peanut butter before law school. Again, it was an honor fighting the law school battle alongside such a great group of smart, intellectual, and hardworking peers. Good luck with studying for the bar, and congratulations, we made it!
Vice Dean and Professor Todd Brown will now present our commencement awards and prizes.
Thank you, Dean Gardner. The 2017 Ken Joyce Excellence in Teaching Award is given to a member of the adjunct faculty for excellent teaching and longstanding service to the law school. Selecting a recipient for this award, well, it's difficult because the law school is blessed to have an extraordinary pool of talented and experienced lawyers. Lawyers who carve out time from their busy schedules to help us train the next generation of lawyers. Even among this impressive group, this year's recipient stands out. Aside from building an impressive career as an attorney, including representing victims of the Love Canal disaster, she is also an author and for more than a decade has been a valued member of the adjunct faculty. Throughout that time, students have consistently praised her teaching and her willingness to help them learn not only the law, but also what it means to be a good lawyer, advisor, and counselor. In some of their own words, she is simply amazing, excellent, extremely effective, insightful, brilliant, funny, very approachable, and a wonderful person and professor. Others have noted that she is so kind and really cares about her students, one of the best professors I've ever had. It's my pleasure to award the 2017 Ken Joyce Excellence in Teaching Award to Kristen Civiletto.
Thank you. I am so honored and so humbled by this award. Thank you to all of those who took part in the selection of it. 15 years ago, a well-known attorney and an adjunct at UB, Professor Richard Griffin, who's here today, asked me to come and speak in his ADR class. And he modeled for me what it meant to be a teacher who is engaged, who was listening to students, who really had a practical side, but also provided the tools that was needed to learn what they needed to learn. And I really took in his example and tried to model some of the things that I did with the class that I eventually took over when he focused only on his practice a couple years later. I think those are wonderful, wonderful things to have as a mentor and somebody who is invested in your development. Those are many of the qualities that I know that the award is named after. Professor Joyce espoused those. He was engaged with his students. He cares about people. And he was an encourager, like Professor Griffin. Class of 2017, I know many of you have had last year and this year. I just want to encourage you with something. You've heard here a lot about being a great lawyer. And I just want to offer my thoughts on not just being a good lawyer, but being a great lawyer. To me, there's a certain amount of intellectual ability, of course. But beyond that, it's taking the things that you're good at, the things that really make you excited, the skills, the aptitudes, the things that you know you do well and love, and meshing that with the practice of law. That's when you become a satisfied and a fulfilled lawyer, which to me is essential for maintaining a practice in this day and age. I want to just very quickly thank my family. I would not be able to maintain a practice and teach without my mom, Judy, my sister, Camille, and my 4 kids, Julia, Mark, Max, and Luke, and also a wonderful assistant that I had for 14 years working on my side who just retired, Sue Martin. So thank you all, and thank you for this award.
The prizes and awards conferred today are described on pages 7 through 9 of your program. The Max Corrin Award is presented to the member of the graduating class who, in the judgment of the faculty and the dean, has exemplified the highest standards of the profession by virtue of scholastic achievement, leadership, and dedication to the ideals of law. This award is supported by a gift from M. Robert Corrin, class of 1944, and son of Max Corrin. When I call your name, please come to the stage to be recognized. The 2017 Max Corrin Award recipient is Megan Mcguigan. The John N. Bennett Achievement Award honors the senior judge by the faculty who demonstrates the highest scholastic achievement in the graduating class. The award is named in honor of John N. Bennett, class of 1933. When I call your name, please come to the stage to be recognized. The 2017 John N. Bennett Achievement Award recipient is Carrie Battenfield. The Dale S. Margulis Award is presented to the member of the graduating class who has contributed the most to the law school and its community. Dale S. Margulis, a member of the class of 1982, died suddenly in August of 1982. To honor his memory, his classmates, family, and friends established this award. Members of the graduating class nominate candidates, and the recipient is selected by the deans. When I call your name, please come to the stage to be recognized. The 2017 Dale S. Margulis Award recipient is Farina Mendelson. The other award recipients are listed on the insert in your program. These students received their awards this morning during our Student Awards Convocation. Will those students who received awards please rise? Please be seated. Each year, the graduating class votes to recognize a member of the faculty and staff for their outstanding contributions to the law school. Professor Bernadette Gargano, the recipient of the Faculty Award last year, will join me at the podium to present the Faculty Award, and I will present the Staff Award. Professor.
I'm very excited to present this year's Faculty Award. It goes to a colleague of mine who I've gotten to know fairly well over the past year. And despite having taken on quite a challenging administrative position, I hope I'm not giving it away, this professor continues to care not just about the law school community, but about his students, and he continues to innovate no matter how busy he becomes. I'm very pleased to announce this year's recipient of the Faculty Award, Professor, Vice Dean of Academics, S. Todd Brown.
Well, that was weird. This year's staff award goes to Dawn Skopinski, Extern Program Coordinator and Special Interest Coordinator. For many years, she has counseled students to find their career paths, coordinated placements for them, and helped them get funding to work in public service. Her dedication to her students is extraordinary, and this award is very well deserved. Dawn, please come forward to accept your award.